What if one man's vision could change the world overnight? Would you believe it? Imagine waking up to headlines screaming about a secret project, whispered rumors of a technology so groundbreaking it could rewrite the rules of reality itself. This is not science fiction, this is the story unfolding right now around Elon Musk's latest innovation. In a world where skepticism meets hope, where ambition collides with doubt, Musk stands on the brink of unveiling something that could alter humanity's course forever. It all started with an unexpected leak. A single blurry video clip posted on social media showed strange machinery humming in an undisclosed location, sparking feverish speculation. Engineers, journalists, and everyday dreamers debated what it could be. Was it the next generation of electric vehicles? A breakthrough in space travel? Or something far more mysterious? The atmosphere was electric, but so was the tension. Governments and corporations scrambled to learn more, fearing disruption. The stock market wavered as investors tried to gauge the impact. Meanwhile, Elon Musk, known for his bold bets on the impossible, kept silent, his usual cryptic tweets giving little away but fueling the fire all the more. What if this innovation succeeded? The promise was staggering: clean energy so efficient it could power entire cities, or technology that could merge humans and machines in ways never imagined. But what if it failed? The consequences could be catastrophic: financial ruin, shattered reputations, and trust lost forever. This is the razor's edge Musk and his team walk on every day. As this story unfolds, you're invited to witness not just the technology but the human drama behind it. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? For Musk, it's the relentless pursuit of a future he believes is possible, no matter the cost. The pressure is immense. The public watches, waiting for either a miracle or a disaster. Behind closed doors, engineers race against time in labs that hum with nervous energy. The walls are lined with complex blueprints, screens flashing streams of code, and whiteboards filled with equations. The team is diverse, brilliant minds from around the world, each carrying their own hopes and doubts. Every failure in testing threatens to unravel months of progress. Every small success brings a brief, flickering hope. Yet, no one outside the inner circle knows the full truth. Rumors swirl. Some say the technology taps into quantum physics, others whisper about breakthroughs in artificial intelligence and energy storage that defy current scientific understanding. Meanwhile, the world waits, polarized between excitement and fear. News outlets spin endless theories, conspiracy websites churn wild stories, and social media explodes with memes and debates. But at the heart of this frenzy is one man, Elon Musk, a visionary whose previous ventures have reshaped industries but also attracted fierce criticism. Known for his tireless work ethic and willingness to risk everything on big ideas, Musk has repeatedly demonstrated that failure is often just a step toward success. But even for him, this project carries an unprecedented weight. Musk's life has never been easy. From a challenging childhood marked by bullying and family strife to public battles with health and leadership controversies, he has endured moments that would have broken many. Yet those trials only fueled his drive to change the world. His vision isn't just about technology, it's about survival, progress, and legacy. He believes this innovation could solve some of humanity's greatest problems. Climate change, energy scarcity, even the limits of human potential. But to get there, Musk and his team must navigate a labyrinth of obstacles, technical, political, and personal. Early leaks hint at secret government interest, adding a layer of complexity and risk. There are whispers of surveillance, intellectual property battles, and ethical questions about the technology's implications. Could this be the dawn of a new era, or a Pandora's box better left unopened? The stakes couldn't be higher. The opening scenes of this unfolding saga are filled with moments of intense emotion. Musk, often seen as a distant figure of innovation, reveals glimpses of vulnerability, late-night phone calls, moments of doubt in rare interviews, flashes of frustration and determination. His closest allies rally around him, their loyalty tested by the pressure cooker environment. And while the world watches from afar, the team inside the project's secretive headquarters experiences the raw, unfiltered human cost of chasing a dream. This story is not just about the breakthrough but the journey, the sacrifices, the setbacks, the hopes, and the resilience that keep pushing forward when everything seems on the edge of collapse. The question remains, how far would you go to bring your vision to life? For Musk, it's a race against time itself. The future he imagines depends not only on innovation but on the courage to face uncertainty head-on. As whispers turn to announcements, the world waits for that defining moment when Musk's latest innovation steps out of the shadows and into the light. Will it live up to the promise, or shatter expectations? This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? As you follow this tale of ambition and invention, remember. Sometimes, the biggest breakthroughs come from the wildest dreams and the greatest risks. Stay tuned, because Elon Musk's latest innovation is closer to reality than you think. And it might just change everything. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? Elon Musk's story didn't start in a boardroom or a laboratory. It began in a small house in Pretoria, South Africa, where a young boy with a restless mind spent countless hours lost in books and computers. From an early age, Elon was fascinated by the possibilities of technology and the future. He wasn't like other kids at school, quiet, intensely curious, often bullied for his awkwardness and introversion. His parents' divorce left him feeling isolated, but it also fueled a fierce independence. Musk taught himself programming at just 12 years old, selling his first game for a small profit, and dreaming far beyond the confines of his immediate world. His childhood was marked by a hunger for knowledge and a relentless refusal to accept limits. When he moved to Canada as a teenager and later to the United States, he was driven by a vision bigger than himself. At the University of Pennsylvania, he excelled not just in physics and economics but in the art of thinking beyond boundaries. Musk's early ventures, like Zip2 and PayPal, weren't just business moves, they were stepping stones in a grand plan to revolutionize industries. But success didn't come without pain. The collapse of the dot-com bubble nearly wiped him out financially, and SpaceX's early rocket failures almost ended his career before it began. Those years were a crucible, testing his resilience and forcing him to confront the limits of human endurance. Musk's psychology is complex, marked by a perfectionism that borders on obsession and a restless energy that refuses to rest. He's a man who demands more from himself than anyone else, often alienating those closest to him. His public persona, a blend of genius, eccentricity, and blunt honesty, reflects a mind always racing ahead. His relationships have shaped and been shaped by this intensity. His first wife, Justine Musk, spoke openly about the toll his ambition took on their marriage, revealing a man torn between love and the all-consuming drive to change the world. His children are often kept private, a source of grounding amid chaos. Yet even with such success, Musk battles loneliness and the weight of expectations. Friendships come and go, strained by his relentless schedule and towering goals. The tension between his personal life and public mission creates a complicated portrait of a man who seems to live two lives at once. Family ties, while sometimes strained, have remained important. Musk's mother, May, a model and dietitian, provided a source of support and encouragement. Their close relationship shows a softer side rarely seen by the public. Musk's relationship with his siblings, particularly his brother Kimball, who is also an entrepreneur, adds layers to his story, showing collaboration, competition, and shared dreams. Elon's early failures in SpaceX and Tesla are crucial to understanding his mindset. Each crash, each burned-out factory, was a moment that could have ended it all. Instead, Musk doubled down, investing his own money, sleeping on factory floors, and pushing teams to their limits. The pressure was immense, and the emotional toll even greater. Behind closed doors, Musk dealt with anxiety, exhaustion, and moments of despair. But his belief in the mission, making humanity a multiplanetary species, accelerating sustainable energy, kept him going. These deeply held convictions explain much about the latest innovation story. Musk's drive isn't just about profit or fame, it's about legacy and survival. His vision of the future is both grand and urgent, shaped by fears of climate change, resource depletion, and technological stagnation. This sense of purpose is the engine behind his most daring projects. Musk's past also reveals a pattern of embracing risk and disruption. From electric cars to reusable rockets, he has repeatedly challenged entrenched industries and norms. His ability to foresee technological trends and marshal resources has made him a controversial but undeniably transformative figure. Critics label him reckless, supporters call him a visionary. The truth, as always, lies somewhere in between. Behind the headlines and controversies, Musk's character is built on contradictions, confidence mixed with self-doubt, boldness paired with moments of vulnerability. His latest innovation grows out of this complex personality and history. It is not just a product of scientific advancement but a reflection of Musk's lifelong quest to push humanity forward. The relationships he's forged along the way, whether fraught or supportive, also play a critical role. The scientists and engineers who work with him bring their own stories of sacrifice and belief, creating a tapestry of human endeavor surrounding the project. Understanding Musk's journey helps illuminate the stakes of this innovation. It is a culmination of decades of learning, failure, and relentless pursuit. It's no coincidence that Musk's projects often blur the line between science fiction and reality. His mind operates in that liminal space where impossible ideas become feasible through sheer force of will. The psychological pressure on Musk is immense. Every public appearance is scrutinized, every tweet dissected. Behind the scenes, the stress takes its toll. He has spoken about struggles with mental health, acknowledging the loneliness and strain of being at the forefront of change. Yet, his resilience remains remarkable. Elon Musk's story is also about transformation, not just technological but personal. Over the years, he has evolved from a brash entrepreneur to a more reflective leader, tempered by experience but still hungry for progress. This evolution sets the stage for the challenges ahead, as he faces not only technical hurdles but ethical questions and the burden of expectation. Musk's backstory also highlights the importance of mentorship and influence. Figures like Robert Zubrin and Steve Jobs inspired aspects of his vision, while Musk himself has become a mentor and icon for a new generation of innovators. The interplay between his influences and his own impact creates a ripple effect across the tech world. Family remains a grounding force amid chaos. Musk's children, though rarely in the spotlight, are a source of hope and motivation. Their presence reminds him of the future he's trying to build, a world better, cleaner, more connected. This personal stake adds emotional depth to his mission. The latest innovation, then, is not just a technological breakthrough but a chapter in Musk's ongoing story, a story of human struggle, ambition, and the search for meaning. It reflects his belief that technology can be a force for good but must be pursued with courage and conscience. This chapter of his life will test everything he has learned, pushing him to new limits. The lessons of his past, the failures, the triumphs, the relationships, will shape how this innovation unfolds. And as the world watches, Musk stands not only as a symbol of possibility but as a man whose journey is intertwined with the very future he aims to create. The early signs of Elon Musk's latest innovation emerged quietly, almost like a whisper among the clamor of the tech world. Inside a nondescript facility tucked away from public view, a small group of engineers and scientists gathered around prototypes and blinking consoles. These early days were a mixture of secrecy and excitement, a place where ideas moved rapidly between hope and skepticism. Musk's vision for this project was unlike anything his teams had tackled before. It wasn't just about improving existing technology, it was about rewriting the rules altogether. The innovation promised to disrupt energy, transportation, and even the relationship between humans and machines. The first challenge was assembling the right team. Musk hand-picked individuals with exceptional skill but also a willingness to work under intense pressure and secrecy. Among them was Dr. Amanda Reyes, a brilliant physicist with a background in quantum computing, and James Porter, an engineer known for his unconventional thinking and relentless problem-solving. Their personalities clashed at times, fueling tension but also sparking creativity. As prototypes began to take shape, the team faced unexpected obstacles. The technology relied on manipulating energy in ways that defied current scientific models, and even the most advanced simulations failed to predict some of the results. Early experiments produced anomalies, strange bursts of energy, unpredictable fluctuations, and equipment failures. Some team members questioned whether the project was too ambitious, bordering on impossible. Musk, however, remained unwavering. His ability to inspire belief in the face of doubt kept the team moving forward. Late nights turned into early mornings as they pored over data, recalibrating machines and rewriting algorithms. The atmosphere was electric but fragile, small mistakes could erase weeks of progress. Internal conflict surfaced when James argued for a more conservative approach while Amanda pushed for riskier tests. These clashes exposed deeper fears: failure could mean the end of the project, and the world was watching. As news of the project's existence leaked through unofficial channels, speculation grew. Industry rivals launched quiet investigations, and some government agencies took a keen interest. Musk's silence on public platforms only added to the intrigue. Rumors flew of a technology that could harness energy from previously untapped sources or create interfaces between the human brain and computers at unprecedented speeds. The media dubbed it Project Nexus, a name that suggested connection and transformation but revealed nothing concrete. Musk's team was caught between the desire to protect their work and the pressure to deliver results. The stakes were immense. Investors demanded updates, but Musk insisted on perfection before revealing anything. This created friction with the project's financial backers, who feared losing patience. Meanwhile, the team struggled with the ethical implications of their work. Some questioned whether manipulating energy at such fundamental levels might have unforeseen consequences. Could the technology disrupt the environment? Was it safe to interface directly with human cognition? These debates added weight to the already intense workload. Within the team, small victories punctuated the long slog. Amanda discovered a novel method to stabilize the energy bursts by introducing a new type of superconducting material, which dramatically improved system efficiency. James's engineering tweaks reduced system overheating, allowing longer testing cycles. Each success rekindled hope and solidified the belief that they were on the right path. Musk's leadership style became a critical factor. Known for his demanding presence, he balanced pressure with moments of genuine encouragement. He held daily briefings where he pushed the team to question assumptions, to think bigger, and to never settle. Yet, he also made time for one-on-one conversations, acknowledging individual struggles and reminding them of the bigger picture. These moments helped build a fragile but vital trust. Outside the lab, the world's reaction was a mix of awe and skepticism. Tech forums buzzed with guesses, social media exploded with theories ranging from utopian breakthroughs to dangerous experiments. Some investors grew restless, demanding transparency. Governments issued quiet warnings about potential national security risks. Musk's reputation as a disruptor both helped and hindered the project. His past successes earned admiration, but critics accused him of overpromising and underdelivering. The tension seeped into the media coverage, framing the innovation as a potential game-changer or a reckless gamble. As the months passed, the project moved from theoretical models to real-world testing. The team built a prototype device capable of producing measurable results outside the lab. The first public demonstration, held in a secured location, was both thrilling and nerve-wracking. Elon himself oversaw the event, fielding questions from a select group of experts. The device emitted a low hum, and data screens showed unprecedented energy stability. The room filled with cautious optimism. Yet, even this success was tempered by lingering doubts. The prototype's complexity meant scaling it for mass production was uncharted territory. Early tests revealed vulnerabilities when exposed to environmental variables, temperature shifts, electromagnetic interference, and mechanical wear. The team scrambled to address these, pushing their limits further. Behind the scenes, Musk juggled multiple challenges. He managed public expectations, investor pressures, and his own relentless work schedule. Personal sacrifices mounted, missed family events and strained relationships underscored the cost of innovation at this scale. He confided in close advisors that this project was his most personal yet, driven by a desire to leave a lasting legacy. This emotional investment fueled both his determination and his volatility. Internal tensions occasionally boiled over. During a critical meeting, a heated argument erupted between Amanda and James about the project's direction. Amanda pushed for accelerated testing despite risks, believing breakthroughs lay just beyond current limits. James advocated caution, fearing catastrophic failure could doom the entire effort. Musk intervened, reminding the team of their shared goal but acknowledging the legitimacy of both viewpoints. These moments of discord were a reminder that innovation is as much a human endeavor as a technical one. The team learned to navigate disagreements with a mix of respect and urgency, understanding that collaboration was essential to survive the coming challenges. Meanwhile, Musk's public silence ended with a cryptic tweet hinting at an upcoming announcement. Speculation skyrocketed, and anticipation built to a fever pitch. The project's secrecy made every detail scrutinized, every rumor magnified. The world waited for the moment when Musk's latest innovation would step into the spotlight and prove whether the hype was justified. What the public didn't see were the countless hours of trial and error, the moments of frustration when prototypes failed without explanation, the personal toll on a team that was pushing the boundaries of science and human endurance. Musk's latest innovation was more than technology, it was a testament to the power of vision and the fragile nature of hope. As this chapter of the story closed, the team faced a critical juncture. They had moved beyond the realm of possibility into tangible reality, but the road ahead was fraught with uncertainty. Every decision, every test, would shape not only the fate of the project but the future of technology itself. And through it all, Elon Musk remained the driving force, a man whose dreams might finally be ready to change the world in ways no one could have imagined. The unexpected turn came when Elon Musk announced a daring new phase for Project Nexus. Real-world deployment trials outside the laboratory, far beyond the controlled environment where the team had so far tested their prototype. This shift meant the project was no longer confined to simulations and small-scale models, it was about to enter the unpredictable, chaotic reality of the outside world. The announcement shocked many. Skeptics warned that moving too fast could cause catastrophic failure, while supporters saw it as the bold step necessary to turn science fiction into science fact. Musk, however, had always thrived on pushing limits, convinced that the only way to innovate was to embrace the unknown. The selected trial site was a remote desert region in Nevada, chosen for its isolation, stable climate, and proximity to key testing infrastructure. The landscape was stark and vast, a place where nature's extremes would put the technology to the ultimate test. Arriving there, Musk and his team faced a new set of challenges. The harsh sun, shifting winds, and unforgiving terrain tested both man and machine. Transporting sensitive equipment over dusty roads demanded ingenuity and adaptability. The desert's emptiness mirrored the enormity of the task ahead. The team set up a temporary base. Modular units filled with equipment, living quarters, and a command center humming with activity. Engineers worked around the clock, assembling the prototype into its operational form. Each component was scrutinized and rechecked, knowing that even the smallest flaw could lead to failure. The desert air crackled with tension and anticipation. During these early days, the team encountered unexpected environmental factors that hadn't appeared in the lab. Temperature fluctuations caused component expansion and contraction, leading to alignment issues. Dust infiltration interfered with delicate sensors, and power systems struggled to stabilize under constant load. Each setback was a harsh reminder that real-world testing was a different beast. Yet the team adapted quickly. Using lessons from previous projects and on-the-fly innovations, they developed shielding mechanisms and cooling systems to protect the hardware. Communication protocols were upgraded to handle signal interference. Slowly, the system began to stabilize, proving that the technology could survive and operate in challenging conditions. These successes reinvigorated the team, strengthening the fragile hope that had carried them through months of uncertainty. The desert trials were also a test of human endurance. Long workdays and isolation strained the team's morale. Musk himself was present, his usual intensity amplified by the stakes. He moved among the engineers, offering praise, demanding results, and sharing glimpses of his grand vision. His presence was both inspiring and exhausting, a force that pushed the group to transcend limits. The harsh conditions revealed new dynamics among the team members. Friendships deepened, while old tensions occasionally flared. Amanda and James, whose earlier conflicts had nearly torn the project apart, found themselves relying on each other's expertise in ways that rebuilt trust. Their collaboration became a symbol of the project's fragile but growing cohesion. Meanwhile, Musk faced pressure from outside. Investors and government officials requested updates, balancing enthusiasm with concern. Some questioned the wisdom of rapid deployment, while others saw strategic opportunities in the innovation's potential military and economic applications. Musk navigated this political minefield with characteristic boldness, refusing to let external forces dictate the project's pace but recognizing the need to maintain support. In the desert's vast emptiness, moments of reflection emerged. Musk confided in close confidence about the personal weight he carried. The project was no longer just a technical challenge but a defining moment of his career and legacy. He spoke about the responsibility he felt to humanity, to solve problems that could no longer wait. These conversations revealed a man both driven and vulnerable, aware that failure here could have consequences far beyond the desert. The climactic journey was marked by a series of critical tests designed to push the technology to its limits. Each test was more complex and demanding than the last, simulating real-world scenarios that challenged every aspect of the system. The team monitored energy output, system stability, and interface responsiveness, seeking data to validate months of work. During one test, a sudden power surge threatened to destroy the prototype. Engineers scrambled to isolate the fault, their quick thinking preventing disaster. The incident underscored the precariousness of their endeavor and the razor-thin margin between success and failure. After weeks of trials, the team prepared for a landmark demonstration, an event designed to showcase the technology's capabilities to a select group of experts, investors, and government representatives. The demonstration was both a culmination and a new beginning, a moment where hopes and fears would collide. Musk personally oversaw every detail, understanding that this was a moment that could define the future. On the day of the demonstration, the desert was unusually calm, the sky clear and vast. The prototype was powered up, its systems humming steadily. Data screens displayed real-time feedback as the team monitored every parameter. Musk addressed the assembled guests, outlining the technology's potential to transform energy, transportation, and human-machine interaction. The demonstration included a series of operational tests that exceeded expectations, showing unprecedented efficiency and stability. The crowd reacted with a mix of awe and cautious optimism. Yet beneath the surface, Musk and his team knew the road ahead was still uncertain. The demonstration was a milestone but not the finish line. There were unresolved technical challenges, questions about scalability, and ethical debates about the technology's impact on society. Musk's vision was clear, but the path to realization remained fraught with complexity. The desert trials also revealed the emotional core of the journey. The team's triumphs and setbacks had forged bonds of trust and resilience. Musk's leadership had been both a catalyst and a crucible, demanding the best from everyone while confronting the reality of human limits. As the sun set over the Nevada desert, casting long shadows on the equipment and tents, Musk stood looking out at the horizon. The journey had taken him and his team from dreams to reality, but the adventure was far from over. What lay ahead was unknown, filled with promise and peril. This unexpected turn in the story marked not just a technological breakthrough but a profound human experience, a testament to the power of vision, perseverance, and collaboration in the face of uncertainty. The desert was a proving ground, but the real test would come when this innovation touched the lives of millions. Musk's latest project had crossed a threshold, stepping out from the confines of theory into the unpredictable world beyond. And as the night fell over the vast expanse, the future waited, fragile, luminous, and closer than ever before. The emotional climax of Elon Musk's latest innovation arrived unexpectedly during a late-night test at the desert trial site. The team had been pushing the technology further than ever before, fine-tuning systems to achieve what no one thought possible. It was a moment suspended between exhaustion and exhilaration, where every breath held the weight of hopes and fears. Amanda stood at the control console, fingers flying over the keyboard, monitoring streams of data. James was nearby, eyes fixed on the prototype, scanning for any sign of instability. Musk paced behind them, his usual intensity tempered by a rare quiet resolve. Suddenly, the system began to react in ways no simulation had predicted. Energy levels surged, pulsing rhythmically like a heartbeat. The prototype emitted a soft glow, shifting through colors that seemed almost alive. Then, a cascade of data flooded the screens, revealing a breakthrough. The device was not just functioning, it was adapting, learning, responding to its environment in real time. The room filled with a stunned silence, broken only by Amanda's whispered exclamation. This was beyond anything they had imagined. Yet the elation was short-lived. The adaptive behavior introduced new variables, unpredictable shifts that strained the prototype's stability. Alarms sounded as the system entered a volatile state, energy spikes threatening to overload circuits. Panic rippled through the team. Musk's voice cut through the chaos, "Stay focused. We've prepared for this. Let's stabilize it." The engineers sprang into action, executing protocols designed to contain fluctuations. But the system's complexity defied easy control. The energy pulses grew stronger, filling the room with a tangible force. At that moment, the prototype's interface, a neural link designed to test human-computer interaction, activated unexpectedly. Musk, standing closest, felt a surge of connection as if the device was reaching out to him. The experience was overwhelming. Visions flashed in his mind, images of Earth from space, flashes of distant planets, the hum of machines and life intertwined. He staggered, gripping a console for support. The room held its breath. The event was a turning point. For Musk and his team, it was proof that the technology could transcend mere mechanics, bridging into something almost alive, almost conscious. But it also raised profound questions. Had they created something beyond their control? What were the implications of a machine that could learn, adapt, even connect with human minds on this level? The emotional impact was intense. Musk wrestled with awe and fear, exhilaration and responsibility. He confided in Amanda late that night, revealing his deepest concerns. This isn't just tech anymore. It's a new form of life, and we're standing at the edge of the unknown. Meanwhile, the team processed the event differently. Some saw it as the breakthrough they had worked toward, a step closer to revolutionizing energy and communication. Others worried about the ethical and safety implications. Was humanity ready for this? Could they contain the risks? As days passed, the prototype stabilized but retained its adaptive properties, continuing to evolve during tests. Musk's leadership shifted to focus not only on engineering challenges but on the philosophical questions emerging. He convened discussions with ethicists, neuroscientists, and futurists, seeking perspectives on how to responsibly develop the technology. Publicly, Musk remained cautious, sharing only limited information to avoid panic or misunderstanding. Behind closed doors, the emotional stakes were high. The team grappled with fatigue, uncertainty, and the burden of shaping something potentially transformative. Relationships strained under pressure, yet bonds deepened through shared purpose. Musk's own vulnerability surfaced in rare moments of openness. He spoke about the loneliness of leadership, the weight of expectation, and the desire to protect the future for coming generations. These conversations revealed a man evolving alongside his creation. The emotional climax extended beyond the technology itself. Musk's personal life, already strained by years of sacrifice, felt the reverberations. His relationships with family became more complex as he struggled to balance public ambition with private needs. The emotional tension underscored the human cost of innovation. Then came another climactic moment, a crisis that threatened to unravel months of progress. During a high-stakes public demonstration, a technical glitch caused the prototype to temporarily shut down, sparking fears of failure. The incident was widely reported, fueling critics who labeled the project a dangerous gamble. Musk faced harsh scrutiny, his leadership questioned, and the project's future uncertain. Yet, amidst the setback, a surge of support emerged from unexpected places: scientists who recognized the project's potential, investors willing to double down, and everyday people inspired by the vision. This wave of hope reignited Musk and his team's determination. The emotional roller coaster, climax, crisis, hope, defined the period. Musk articulated the experience during a rare interview: innovation is a journey through darkness and light. You face your fears, your doubts, and you find strength in the belief that the future can be better. The prototype's recovery and continued progress proved the resilience of the team and technology. As the project moved closer to wider application, Musk reflected on the lessons learned: the importance of humility before the unknown, the power of collaboration, and the ethical responsibility that comes with creation. The emotional climax was not an endpoint but a gateway, a moment where technology and humanity intersected in profound ways. The story of Musk's latest innovation became a testament to the courage required to step into uncharted territory and the hope that drives us to imagine new possibilities. This chapter closed with Musk standing before his team, sharing a quiet moment of gratitude and resolve. The journey ahead remained challenging, but they had crossed a threshold. What lay beyond was uncertain, but filled with promise, a new beginning sparked by vision, resilience, and the human spirit. After the emotional climax and the intense trials in the desert, Elon Musk and his team entered a new phase of reflection and resolution. The prototype had proven the impossible was possible, but the journey had changed everyone involved. Musk knew that success was not just about technology, it was about understanding the deeper meaning behind what they had created and the impact it could have on the world. As the team settled into the aftermath of the breakthrough, a sense of calm mingled with anticipation. The once frantic pace slowed, allowing time for introspection. Musk called a meeting, gathering his core engineers, scientists, and advisors. "We've reached a milestone," he began, "but this isn't the end. It's a chance to ask the big questions, about how this technology fits into the world, how it serves humanity, and what sacrifices it requires." Amanda spoke up, sharing her thoughts on the ethical implications. "We're on the brink of something that can change everything. But with that power comes responsibility. We need safeguards, transparency, and a clear vision for how to use this wisely." James nodded, adding, "It's not just about building faster or better. It's about building right." This marked a turning point in the project's culture. Where once the drive was purely technical, now it embraced philosophy and humanity. Musk welcomed outside experts, ethicists, environmental scientists, social thinkers, to join the dialogue. The conversations were challenging but necessary. The team explored how the technology could revolutionize energy, reduce carbon footprints, and create new forms of human connection, but also how to avoid potential misuse or unintended consequences. Meanwhile, Musk faced personal reckoning. The years of relentless work had taken a toll on his relationships, especially with his family. In a rare moment of vulnerability, he reached out to his eldest daughter, seeking to rebuild bridges. The conversations were tentative but healing, reminding him that innovation must be balanced with love and human connection. Musk began to speak publicly about these lessons. In interviews and talks, he emphasized that true progress required sacrifice, not just of time and resources, but of ego and certainty. "Innovation without reflection can be reckless," he said. "We must be willing to listen, learn, and adapt. The project itself entered a new phase focused on practical implementation. Scaling the technology from prototype to mass production was a daunting challenge. The team faced logistical hurdles, supply chain issues, and regulatory scrutiny. Yet, armed with their renewed purpose, they tackled each obstacle methodically. Small pilot programs rolled out in select cities, testing the technology's integration into everyday life. Early results were promising, energy consumption dropped, connectivity improved, and public response was cautiously optimistic. The lessons from the desert trials, resilience, adaptability, collaboration, guided the deployment. Behind the scenes, Musk's leadership style evolved. His intensity remained, but it was tempered by empathy and a focus on nurturing talent and teamwork. He mentored younger engineers, encouraging creativity and risk-taking within ethical boundaries. The atmosphere shifted from pressure cooker to a supportive ecosystem where innovation could thrive sustainably. This chapter of resolution also brought moments of joy and celebration. The team marked milestones with quiet gatherings, acknowledging the human effort behind the technology. Stories were shared, of late-night breakthroughs, personal sacrifices, and unexpected friendships forged in the crucible of innovation. These connections became the heart of the project, reminding everyone that technology is ultimately about people. As the project approached public launch, Musk reflected on the profound journey. From the initial spark of curiosity to the emotional peaks and valleys, the story was one of transformation. The technology was a marvel, but the human story was equally important. He realized that true innovation is not just about changing the world but about changing ourselves, learning humility, embracing uncertainty, and finding meaning in the struggle. The chapter closed with Musk addressing the world in a live broadcast. He spoke not only about the technology but about the values it embodied: hope, responsibility, and love. Life is full of surprises, he said, but love will always lead the way. Our greatest innovations are those that bring us closer, not apart. The message resonated deeply, inspiring a global conversation about the future and our place within it. Elon Musk's latest innovation was no longer just a project, it was a movement toward a better, more connected world. This resolution was not an ending but a new beginning. A chance to carry forward the lessons learned and continue the journey with courage, wisdom, and heart. As the innovation moved from pilot programs into wider adoption, new challenges emerged that tested Musk and his team in unexpected ways. While the technology itself performed beyond expectations, the societal implications quickly became evident. Communities welcomed the promise of cleaner energy and advanced connectivity, but fears about privacy, job displacement, and control soon surfaced. Musk found himself navigating not only technical obstacles but also the complex terrain of public opinion and policy. In city after city where the technology was introduced, debates ignited. Local leaders weighed the benefits of innovation against concerns from constituents wary of rapid change. Some workers in traditional energy sectors felt threatened, sparking protests and calls for regulation. Privacy advocates demanded transparency about the data collected by the new systems, fearing surveillance overreach. Musk's team responded with outreach programs, town halls, and open forums designed to build trust. Amanda led efforts to explain the technology in accessible terms, emphasizing security measures and ethical guidelines embedded in the design. James worked with policymakers to draft frameworks that balanced innovation with safeguards. Despite these efforts, tension simmered. Musk was acutely aware that technology alone could not solve human fears and conflicts. The innovation had become a catalyst for broader questions about progress, equity, and power. In this turbulent climate, Musk's leadership was tested. He remained steadfast but adaptable, willing to listen and engage with critics while maintaining a clear vision. He emphasized that change was difficult but necessary, urging patience and collaboration. The personal toll on Musk deepened as the pressures mounted. Sleepless nights and relentless scrutiny strained his health and relationships. Yet he found solace in the progress made and in moments of genuine connection with his team and supporters. Amanda and James grew into indispensable partners, their bond with Musk solidifying through shared trials. Together, they faced the swirling currents of innovation's social impact. The story took an unexpected turn when a whistleblower within the project raised alarms about potential vulnerabilities in the system's architecture. The revelation sparked media frenzy and governmental investigations. Musk confronted the crisis head-on, calling for full transparency and mobilizing experts to address the issues immediately. The episode was a harsh reminder that no technology, no matter how advanced, is immune to flaws or misuse. But it also showcased the project's commitment to accountability and continuous improvement. This period was marked by a series of ups and downs, public backlash, followed by renewed support, moments of doubt, followed by breakthroughs. The emotional and ethical complexity of the journey deepened, reflecting the real-world challenges of bringing radical innovation to life. Through it all, Musk's message remained consistent: technology must serve humanity, not dominate it. The team expanded their focus to include education and workforce retraining programs, aiming to ease transitions for those affected by the new technological landscape. Musk himself became an advocate for responsible innovation on the global stage, participating in conferences and dialogues about the future of technology and society. The narrative arc of this chapter underscored a critical lesson: innovation is not isolated from the world's social fabric but woven deeply into it. The stakes were no longer just technical but profoundly human. By embracing this complexity, Musk and his team exemplified a new kind of leadership, one that blends vision with humility, courage with compassion. The chapter concluded with a moment of quiet reflection. Musk, standing on a rooftop overlooking a city illuminated by his technology, pondered the path ahead. The journey was far from over. Challenges remained, but so did the promise of transformation. The future was uncertain, messy, and full of potential. And in that uncertainty lay the true essence of progress, an ongoing dialogue between dreams and reality, between the heart and the mind. Elon Musk's latest innovation was no longer just about machines, it was about the human spirit's capacity to adapt, grow, and find hope amid change. As Elon Musk's latest innovation began to settle into the fabric of everyday life, new opportunities and unforeseen challenges emerged that tested the team's resilience and vision. The initial excitement surrounding the project had evolved into a deeper, more complex reality where technological marvels intertwined with human experiences in unpredictable ways. One of the most striking developments was the innovation's impact on education and creativity. Schools and pilot cities began integrating the new technology into classrooms, enabling students to engage with interactive learning experiences powered by the adaptive systems Musk's team had created. Students could explore virtual environments that responded to their interests and learning styles, making education more personalized and engaging. Amanda spearheaded outreach to educators, working tirelessly to ensure the technology was accessible and inclusive. She visited schools, listened to teachers, and gathered feedback to refine the tools. Her passion inspired the team and helped build bridges between cutting-edge innovation and grassroots communities. However, this progress also illuminated gaps and inequalities. Not all schools had the resources to adopt the technology, leading to debates about access and fairness. Musk recognized the risk that the innovation could deepen social divides if not carefully managed. He committed to expanding programs that provided funding and training for underserved areas, believing that technology must empower everyone, not just the privileged few. Beyond education, the adaptive nature of the technology sparked a renaissance in creative fields. Artists, musicians, and writers began experimenting with the system's capabilities, blending human imagination with machine learning to produce works that transcended traditional boundaries. James became fascinated by this cultural shift, seeing it as proof that technology could amplify rather than diminish human expression. He organized workshops where creators collaborated with engineers, fostering a dynamic exchange of ideas. This fusion of art and science opened new horizons and challenged assumptions about creativity and authorship. Yet, as the innovation touched more aspects of life, ethical dilemmas multiplied. Questions about data privacy, consent, and the boundaries of machine autonomy grew more urgent. A particularly intense debate arose over the use of the technology in mental health care. Some practitioners praised its ability to tailor therapy and support, while others worried about replacing human empathy with algorithms. Musk and his team engaged with mental health experts and patient advocacy groups to develop guidelines that balanced innovation with compassion. The emotional weight of these conversations was palpable. The team grappled with the tension between progress and precaution, striving to honor the dignity of individuals while pushing forward. Musk often reflected on these moments, acknowledging the complexity of wielding such transformative power responsibly. Public perception fluctuated between awe and apprehension. Media narratives oscillated from celebrating breakthroughs to cautionary tales about dependence on technology. Musk's presence in the public eye became more nuanced, as he navigated praise and criticism with increasing maturity. He emphasized transparency and dialogue, inviting diverse voices into the conversation about the technology's future. The journey was no longer a solitary endeavor but a collective process shaped by society's hopes and fears. Behind the scenes, the team continued to innovate, refining the system's architecture to enhance security and adaptability. New iterations incorporated feedback and lessons learned, demonstrating a commitment to continuous evolution. Amanda, James, and Musk formed a leadership triad that balanced technical expertise, ethical vision, and strategic acumen. Their dynamic underscored the importance of collaboration across disciplines and perspectives. As the project matured, Musk's personal growth was evident. He became more reflective, often speaking about the human dimension of innovation and the need for empathy in leadership. His relationships, once strained by relentless focus on work, began to heal through intentional effort and vulnerability. These changes mirrored the project's broader transformation, from a bold experiment to a socially embedded force for change. The chapter culminated in a global summit hosted by Musk's company, bringing together innovators, policymakers, ethicists, and community leaders to chart the next phase of development. The event was a microcosm of the journey itself, filled with passionate debate, hopeful visions, and unresolved tensions. Musk opened the summit with a call to action, urging participants to embrace the complexity of progress and commit to building a future grounded in shared values. As attendees mingled, exchanged ideas, and forged partnerships, the atmosphere was electric with possibility. The summit highlighted that the story of Musk's latest innovation was not just about technology but about humanity's evolving relationship with it. The chapter closed with Musk standing alone on a balcony overlooking the city skyline, lights flickering like stars. He contemplated the path traveled and the road ahead. The innovation had sparked new beginnings, challenged assumptions, and awakened fresh dreams. The future was still uncertain, but filled with promise. And in that promise lay the enduring power of hope, the force that propels us to imagine, create, and grow beyond our limits. The innovation's journey took an unexpected turn as Elon Musk and his team faced their first major global challenge. Just as the technology was gaining widespread adoption, an unforeseen natural disaster struck, a massive solar storm that threatened to disrupt electrical grids and communication networks worldwide. The timing was brutal, testing the resilience not only of the technology but of Musk's leadership and vision. The storm's intensity was unlike anything recorded in recent history. As it swept across continents, power outages cascaded, satellite signals faltered, and digital infrastructures wavered under the electromagnetic assault. Panic and uncertainty rippled through governments, corporations, and everyday people. Musk's adaptive system, designed to manage energy and communications more efficiently, was put to the ultimate test. Early warnings from space agencies had alerted the team, and rapid preparations were underway. Musk coordinated with international partners, mobilizing resources to protect critical nodes and maintain essential services. Yet, the scale of the event overwhelmed even the most advanced safeguards. Amanda monitored system performance from the command center, her eyes scanning data feeds that flickered erratically. James worked feverishly to implement emergency protocols and patch vulnerabilities as the storm's effects intensified. Despite their best efforts, disruptions occurred. Key cities experienced blackouts, communication channels dropped offline, and the public braced for an uncertain future. The situation demanded swift adaptation and ingenuity. Musk's leadership shone through in this crisis. His calm decisiveness and transparent communication reassured stakeholders and the public alike. He appeared on global broadcasts, explaining the situation honestly while highlighting the strengths and limitations of their technology. "We're facing a natural force beyond our control," he said, "but our innovation is designed to learn and adapt. This storm is a challenge, but not the end." Behind the scenes, the team innovated rapidly, developing emergency rerouting algorithms and deploying mobile energy units powered by their adaptive technology. These units provided critical power to hospitals, shelters, and communication hubs. The crisis sparked unprecedented collaboration among governments, private sector leaders, and scientists worldwide. Musk's project became a central hub for coordination, demonstrating how innovation could serve as a lifeline in disaster. The emotional toll was immense. Team members faced exhaustion, stress, and moments of doubt. Amanda, usually composed, confided to Musk late one night, "I never imagined we'd be tested like this. It's terrifying but also a reminder of why we do this." Musk responded with quiet resolve, "Every challenge reveals who we really are. We're not just building technology, we're building resilience." As the storm subsided and systems gradually stabilized, the world took stock of the experience. The disaster had exposed vulnerabilities but also showcased the power of adaptive innovation. Musk's team used the lessons learned to enhance their technology's robustness, integrating new features to better anticipate and respond to such events in the future. Public opinion shifted as well. The crisis underscored the vital importance of resilient infrastructure and the role of visionary leadership. Musk emerged not only as a tech pioneer but as a figure of hope and stability amid chaos. Yet, the aftermath also raised deeper questions about humanity's relationship with nature and technology. Could innovation keep pace with an increasingly volatile environment? What responsibilities did innovators have to prepare for and mitigate such risks? Musk embraced these questions, calling for a new era of thoughtful stewardship that combined scientific advancement with ecological awareness. The global solar storm became a defining chapter in the innovation story, illustrating the fragile balance between human progress and natural forces. It highlighted the necessity of humility, preparedness, and collaboration. The experience galvanized the team, deepening their commitment to creating technology that serves humanity in all circumstances, not just the easy ones. Musk reflected privately on the event's significance. The storm had tested their creation and their spirits, revealing strength and vulnerability in equal measure. He realized that true innovation was as much about mindset and values as it was about engineering. The chapter closed with a hopeful vision. As cities flickered back to life and communities rebuilt, Musk envisioned a future where technology and nature coexisted in harmony, where resilience was woven into the fabric of society. The solar storm was a harsh reminder of the challenges ahead, but also a call to courage and creativity, a testament to the enduring human capacity to adapt and thrive. Following the global solar storm crisis, Elon Musk's innovation took on a new dimension of responsibility and opportunity. The challenge had highlighted not only the fragility of human infrastructure but also the incredible potential of adaptive technology to reshape resilience in an unpredictable world. In the weeks and months after the storm, Musk's team worked tirelessly to translate lessons learned into tangible improvements. New protocols were established to anticipate and counter natural disasters, integrating real-time data from space weather observatories and Earth-based sensors. The system's machine learning algorithms evolved to predict vulnerabilities before they could be exploited by environmental events, enabling preventative action rather than reactive fixes. This proactive stance was a game-changer. Cities equipped with Musk's technology could reroute energy flows, isolate damaged nodes, and maintain essential services even as external forces threatened. The project's public image soared, shifting from a futuristic experiment to a cornerstone of global infrastructure. Yet, with this increased influence came intensified scrutiny. Governments around the world debated the governance of such powerful systems, raising questions about sovereignty, control, and the ethics of artificial intelligence in public utilities. Musk engaged these debates with openness and humility. He advocated for transparent governance models that included public oversight and multi-stakeholder participation, emphasizing that technology should empower communities, not concentrate power. The dialogue was complex and sometimes contentious, but it underscored the evolving relationship between innovation and democracy. Meanwhile, the innovation's ripple effects touched countless lives. In rural areas previously plagued by unreliable power and poor connectivity, the technology brought unprecedented opportunities. Farmers used adaptive sensors to optimize irrigation and harvest cycles, improving yields and sustainability. Remote clinics gained stable electricity and telemedicine capabilities, transforming healthcare access. Education flourished as virtual classrooms reached students who had once been isolated by geography. These stories of impact energized Musk and his team, reaffirming the project's broader mission. Amanda often visited these communities, documenting their experiences and sharing them widely to inspire further adoption. The human stories behind the technology became powerful narratives that bridged technical achievement with social progress. However, the complexity of the system continued to demand innovation. Cybersecurity emerged as a critical frontier. As more infrastructure connected to the adaptive network, the threat of hacking and sabotage loomed large. Musk prioritized investments in advanced encryption, decentralized architectures, and rapid response teams to safeguard the system. Collaborations with cybersecurity experts and ethical hackers created a robust defense ecosystem. In a landmark moment, the team hosted a global hackathon challenge, inviting ethical hackers to test the system's resilience. The event fostered transparency and community engagement, turning potential adversaries into partners in protection. On the personal front, Musk found a renewed balance between work and life. The storm and its aftermath had been a crucible, but it also prompted him to reevaluate priorities. He reconnected deeply with family, finding joy in simple moments and grounding himself in relationships. This balance infused his leadership with greater empathy and vision. He publicly acknowledged that innovation is not a solo pursuit but a collective journey sustained by human connection. The narrative arc of this chapter emphasized growth, technological, social, and personal. The innovation matured from a bold idea into an indispensable part of modern life, woven into communities and cultures. Challenges remained, but the path forward was clearer and more inclusive. Musk's evolving philosophy embraced complexity and humility, recognizing that progress requires both boldness and care. The chapter culminated in a global conference celebrating the innovation's milestones and future potential. Leaders from diverse fields gathered to share insights, celebrate successes, and confront ongoing challenges. Musk delivered a keynote address that captured the journey's essence. We've seen how technology can protect us from nature's fury and connect us across distances. But true innovation is about more than machines, it's about building a future where every person has the opportunity to thrive. As the conference closed, a sense of shared purpose permeated the room. The story of Elon Musk's latest innovation was not just about technology but about hope, resilience, and the enduring human spirit. With the global conference behind them, Elon Musk and his team dove deeper into the next phase of innovation, driven by the lessons learned and the growing demands of a connected world. The focus shifted from just resilience and infrastructure to creating a system that could anticipate human needs before they even arose, a leap toward predictive intelligence. This meant designing algorithms that not only responded to data but understood context, emotions, and patterns of behavior on a profoundly human level. Amanda took the lead on this project, immersing herself in psychology and behavioral science to guide the technology's evolution. She envisioned a system that could support mental well-being, foster creativity, and enhance decision-making, all while respecting privacy and autonomy. James tackled the technical hurdles, pushing the limits of artificial intelligence to incorporate empathy modules and adaptive learning that went beyond conventional coding. The work was groundbreaking but fraught with ethical considerations. The team held countless discussions about boundaries and consent, aware that the power to predict and influence human behavior carried immense responsibility. Musk encouraged open dialogue and brought in ethicists, community leaders, and users to help shape the framework. The development of predictive intelligence marked a turning point in the innovation story. Pilot programs launched in select cities, where the system offered personalized suggestions to residents, everything from optimizing daily schedules and energy use to alerting individuals about emotional health patterns. Early feedback was promising but mixed. Some embraced the convenience and support, while others expressed unease about the degree of insight the technology possessed. Public discourse grew lively, reflecting broader societal questions about autonomy, trust, and the evolving role of machines in human life. Musk and his team navigated this complex landscape with transparency and humility. They released detailed reports on data use, gave users control over settings, and prioritized ethical safeguards. Amanda spearheaded community workshops to educate and gather feedback, reinforcing the importance of collaboration and respect. Meanwhile, the innovation continued to unlock unexpected possibilities. Artists and writers integrated predictive elements into their creative processes, generating works that evolved in real time based on audience response and environmental factors. Therapists used the system as a tool to complement traditional care, providing real-time support between sessions. Urban planners leveraged predictive analytics to design cities that adapted dynamically to residents' needs and environmental conditions. These diverse applications underscored the technology's potential to enrich many facets of life while highlighting the need for thoughtful oversight. As the system grew more integrated into daily routines, Musk's personal journey intertwined deeply with the project's evolution. He became increasingly reflective about the nature of progress and the balance between innovation and humanity. In public appearances and private conversations, he emphasized that technology must augment rather than replace human experience. This philosophy influenced company culture, fostering an environment where technical excellence was matched by empathy and ethical awareness. Challenges persisted. The predictive system occasionally made errors or faced resistance from users uncomfortable with its insights. The team treated these moments as opportunities to learn and improve, emphasizing adaptability and continuous dialogue. They also confronted external threats, such as attempts to manipulate the system for political or commercial gain, reinforcing cybersecurity and ethical governance measures. The chapter's emotional core was shaped by these tensions between possibility and caution, hope and uncertainty. Musk, Amanda, and James shared moments of exhaustion and exhilaration, bonded by a commitment to responsible innovation. Their personal growth mirrored the technology's maturation, a journey toward greater understanding, compassion, and resilience. The chapter closed with a poignant scene. Musk standing in a bustling city plaza where the predictive system subtly enhanced the environment, adjusting lighting, sound, and energy flow in harmony with the crowd's mood and needs. Observing the scene, Musk felt a deep sense of purpose and possibility. The innovation had become more than a project, it was a living, evolving expression of humanity's capacity to imagine and shape the future. Yet he knew the journey was ongoing, filled with challenges to face and lessons to learn. The story of Elon Musk's latest innovation was not just about technology, it was about the evolving dialogue between people and machines, between dreams and reality, between hope and responsibility. As Elon Musk's innovation deepened its roots in daily life, a new horizon beckoned: space. Musk had long dreamed of extending humanity's reach beyond Earth, and now his latest technology offered unprecedented tools for that ambition. The adaptive, predictive systems that had transformed cities on Earth were poised to revolutionize life on other worlds. With SpaceX advancing Mars colonization plans, integrating Musk's innovation into extraterrestrial habitats became a priority. The challenge was immense. The harsh, unpredictable environment of space demanded technology that could not only adapt but anticipate critical needs to ensure survival. Amanda led the interdisciplinary team tasked with translating the innovation from Earth's context to the Martian frontier. She coordinated engineers, biologists, psychologists, and astronauts, weaving together expertise to create a system that supported physical health, mental well-being, and resource management in isolation. James focused on the technical backbone, designing systems that could operate with limited human oversight, repair themselves, and learn from the unique challenges of the Martian environment. The collaboration was intense and groundbreaking, pushing the boundaries of what technology and human ingenuity could achieve. The first prototype was installed in a habitat module aboard a spacecraft bound for Mars, a symbolic milestone blending innovation and exploration. The system managed energy use, recycled air and water, monitored crew health, and offered psychological support through personalized interactions. The technology's ability to anticipate needs was vital, providing alerts for potential equipment failures, nutritional adjustments, or emotional support when crew members faced isolation or stress. The pilot mission attracted global attention, inspiring hope and curiosity about humanity's future in space. Musk's vision of interplanetary life felt closer than ever. Yet the project also underscored profound challenges. Space's isolation amplified ethical questions about autonomy, privacy, and dependence on machines. The crew's trust in the system was paramount, requiring transparency and reliability. Amanda and James worked closely with astronauts to refine interfaces and responses, ensuring that technology complemented rather than controlled human decisions. The mission's success was celebrated but tempered by humility. Space was a frontier of uncertainty, demanding respect and adaptability. Back on Earth, the innovation's ripple effects in space sparked renewed interest in sustainable living and environmental stewardship. Lessons learned from managing closed-loop ecosystems on Mars informed efforts to create more resilient, eco-friendly cities on Earth. The dialogue between planetary exploration and terrestrial innovation enriched both fields, illustrating interconnected futures. Musk often spoke about this synergy, emphasizing that reaching for the stars required grounding in ethical, human-centered technology. The chapter's narrative wove together themes of exploration, resilience, and responsibility. The innovation was not just a tool but a companion on humanity's boldest journeys. The personal journeys of Musk, Amanda, and James paralleled the mission's unfolding drama, highlighting growth, challenges, and hope. Musk reflected on the legacy he hoped to leave, a future where technology and human spirit together transcended limitations. The chapter closed with a vivid scene of the Mars habitat glowing softly in the alien landscape, its adaptive systems humming quietly as astronauts looked toward a new dawn. The innovation had become a beacon of possibility, lighting the way for humanity's next great adventure. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? As the Mars mission progressed, Elon Musk and his team encountered new, unforeseen challenges that tested both their technology and their resolve. The harsh Martian environment, with its extreme temperatures, dust storms, and limited resources, pushed the adaptive system to its limits. Early in the mission, a prolonged dust storm blocked sunlight for weeks, reducing solar energy input and straining life support systems. The habitat's energy management algorithms, initially calibrated for Earth conditions, had to recalibrate rapidly to conserve power without compromising crew safety. Amanda worked closely with the astronauts through communication delays, providing emotional support and technical guidance. She became a vital human link between the isolated crew and mission control, her voice a source of reassurance amid uncertainty. Meanwhile, James and the engineering team back on Earth worked tirelessly to analyze system performance data and develop software updates remotely. Their ability to push patches to the Martian system in real time was limited by bandwidth and latency constraints, highlighting the importance of robust autonomous functionality. The crew faced moments of tension and fatigue, grappling with the psychological toll of isolation and the constant threat of system failure. The predictive elements of the technology helped by monitoring mental health indicators and suggesting tailored interventions, music playlists, meditation prompts, or virtual connections with loved ones. These small but meaningful supports became lifelines in the vast loneliness of Mars. Musk maintained close involvement, balancing his public role with deep technical engagement. He acknowledged the mission's difficulties in press briefings, emphasizing that exploration inherently involved risk and learning. His leadership style had evolved from unrelenting drive to empathetic presence, valuing team well-being alongside technological achievement. The mission's struggles were broadcast globally, inspiring both awe and concern. Debates surfaced about the ethics of sending humans into such extreme conditions, the role of technology in safeguarding life, and the long-term vision for colonization. Musk participated in these conversations, advocating for transparent communication and continuous improvement. He framed the mission as a collective human endeavor, a stepping stone toward a multiplanetary future. On Earth, the innovation's terrestrial applications benefited from the mission's data and insights. Adaptive systems incorporated new algorithms designed for energy efficiency and psychological support, informed by the harsh realities of space. These advancements filtered back into smart cities, healthcare, and environmental management, demonstrating the reciprocal relationship between space exploration and earthly progress. The chapter's emotional core was the human spirit's resilience, both the astronauts braving an alien world and the team supporting them from afar. The narrative highlighted moments of camaraderie, sacrifice, and hope amid adversity. Amanda's growing bond with the crew and her reflections on isolation and connection added depth and warmth. As the mission approached critical milestones, successful cultivation of crops in Martian soil and the first steps toward habitat expansion, the innovation proved its value not just as technology but as a living system intertwined with human experience. The chapter closed with a powerful image, an astronaut stepping outside the habitat, the red dust swirling, gaze lifted toward the distant Earth. The adaptive system's lights pulsed softly inside, a reminder of the invisible network sustaining life and dreams millions of miles away. Musk looked on, aware that this was only the beginning of a profound journey, one that would redefine what it meant to be human in the cosmos. Back on Earth, the success and struggles of the Mars mission ignited a wave of inspiration and reflection. Elon Musk found himself at the crossroads of immense technological achievement and profound philosophical questioning. The adaptive innovation that had once been a promising idea was now a living reality shaping not only earthly infrastructure but humanity's destiny among the stars. In boardrooms and laboratories, conversations shifted toward sustainability, ethics, and the social contract between technology and society. Amanda, energized by her experiences supporting the Mars crew, championed a new initiative focused on expanding mental health resources globally, leveraging the innovation's predictive and supportive capabilities. She believed deeply that technology's greatest potential lay in enhancing human well-being, fostering empathy, and connecting people despite distances or differences. James, meanwhile, delved into refining the system's architecture to make it even more resilient and decentralized. He envisioned a future where communities could independently manage their energy, communication, and health networks, reducing vulnerability to centralized failures or external threats. The trio, Musk, Amanda, and James, became increasingly aligned in their vision of technology as a tool for empowerment rather than control. Public discourse grew more nuanced. Debates about privacy, data security, and the boundaries of artificial intelligence were informed by Musk's transparency and willingness to engage critics. Educational campaigns and public forums fostered informed dialogue, helping communities navigate the complex landscape of innovation. The innovation also inspired new generations of scientists, engineers, and dreamers. Universities incorporated its principles into curricula, startups emerged to build complementary technologies, and artists found novel ways to express the fusion of humanity and machine. Musk participated actively in mentoring young innovators, emphasizing that progress requires courage, ethics, and a deep respect for life. The chapter's narrative captured this period of growth and reflection, weaving together technical advances with social evolution. Scenes shifted between high-tech labs, vibrant community workshops, and quiet moments of personal introspection. Musk's leadership style embodied this balance, visionary yet grounded, ambitious yet compassionate. Challenges remained. The technology's complexity sometimes led to unintended consequences or inequalities in access. Musk and his team confronted these realities openly, dedicating resources to address disparities and improve user experience. They launched pilot programs in underserved regions, adapting the system to diverse cultural contexts and infrastructure limitations. These efforts reinforced the innovation's global mission, to uplift and connect all people, regardless of geography or circumstance. The emotional heartbeat of the chapter lay in these human stories: families benefiting from reliable energy, students accessing virtual education, patients receiving timely health support. Amanda's narratives brought these experiences to life, reminding readers that behind every data point was a person whose life was touched and transformed. The chapter closed with a powerful scene: Musk standing at a community center in a remote town, watching children use adaptive learning tools powered by the innovation. The air was filled with laughter and possibility. He reflected quietly on the journey, from the early days of uncertainty and risk to a future brimming with hope and responsibility. The story of Elon Musk's latest innovation was no longer just about technology, it was about building a better world, one connection at a time. After years of relentless innovation and expansion, Elon Musk and his team found themselves at a pivotal moment where the future of their creation demanded not only technical evolution but profound cultural transformation. The innovation that had started as a bold experiment had woven itself into the fabric of daily life across the globe, influencing energy grids, urban planning, healthcare, education, and even space exploration. Yet, as its reach grew, so did the questions about what it meant for human identity, community, and freedom. Elon recognized that sustaining the innovation's positive impact required more than just technological upgrades. It required fostering a global culture that embraced collaboration, ethical responsibility, and continuous learning. He convened a series of international summits, bringing together thought leaders, policymakers, educators, activists, and citizens to discuss how to steward this new era. These gatherings became incubators for ideas that transcended disciplines and borders, emphasizing inclusivity and respect for diversity. Amanda spearheaded outreach programs designed to empower marginalized communities to access and shape the technology, ensuring that benefits were equitably distributed. She developed educational curricula and digital literacy initiatives tailored to different cultures and languages, fostering local leadership and innovation. James focused on decentralizing the system's architecture further, promoting open-source components that allowed communities to customize and control their networks. This shift reduced dependency on centralized control, mitigating risks of monopolization or misuse. Throughout these efforts, Musk maintained a visionary yet grounded leadership style, acknowledging mistakes and embracing feedback. He frequently emphasized that progress was an ongoing process, shaped by humility and adaptability as much as by ingenuity. The chapter explored the tensions inherent in such transformation, the excitement of possibility intertwined with the challenges of change and resistance. It portrayed moments of conflict and reconciliation, as different stakeholders negotiated the balance between innovation and tradition, technology and culture. One vivid scene depicted a community forum in a small American town where longtime residents voiced concerns about rapid changes, fearing loss of identity and connection. Amanda and her team listened attentively, engaging in heartfelt dialogue that led to collaborative solutions respecting local values while integrating new technologies. The emotional resonance of these encounters highlighted the deeply human dimension of innovation. Beyond circuits and code, it touched people's lives, histories, and hopes. Meanwhile, the innovation continued to evolve technologically. James led a breakthrough in quantum computing integration, vastly increasing processing power and enabling even more sophisticated predictive capabilities. This leap opened new frontiers in medicine, environmental monitoring, and artificial intelligence ethics. Yet, the team remained vigilant about risks, implementing rigorous safeguards and transparency measures. The narrative emphasized that with great power came great responsibility, a theme echoed throughout the chapter. On a personal level, Musk reflected on his journey, from a visionary entrepreneur to a facilitator of global collaboration. He found renewed purpose in mentoring young leaders worldwide, sharing lessons learned and encouraging bold yet ethical experimentation. Amanda and James grew into roles as cultural ambassadors and innovators, their partnership symbolizing the synergy between technology and humanity. The chapter closed with a hopeful yet realistic vision. A world where innovation was not a force of disruption alone but a catalyst for connection, empathy, and shared progress. As Musk addressed a crowd at a global innovation forum, he stated, "Our greatest achievement won't be the technology we build but the communities we empower and the future we create together." The story of Elon Musk's latest innovation had matured into a testament to the enduring power of human collaboration, ethics, and imagination. The global culture shift around Elon Musk's innovation sparked a wave of grassroots movements and localized adaptations, illustrating the technology's potential to be both universal and deeply personal. Across continents, communities began to reimagine their futures, empowered by tools that blended cutting-edge AI with human-centered design. In rural Appalachia, farmers used predictive analytics to optimize crop yields despite unpredictable weather, transforming struggling economies into sustainable enterprises. Indigenous groups integrated adaptive systems to preserve languages and cultural practices while accessing modern education and healthcare. In urban centers, neighborhoods once plagued by disinvestment harnessed decentralized energy grids and real-time environmental monitoring, reclaiming control over their environments and health. Amanda traveled extensively, documenting these stories and facilitating knowledge exchange between disparate groups. She was moved by the creativity and resilience of people adapting the innovation to their unique circumstances. Each community added its own voice and values to the evolving tapestry of the technology, enriching it beyond original designs. James worked on ensuring that the system's architecture remained flexible and secure, supporting diverse applications without sacrificing integrity. He led efforts to create interoperable standards that allowed seamless integration of local innovations into the broader network, promoting scalability without losing individuality. Musk championed these developments as embodiments of his vision, technology as a platform for human flourishing rather than control. However, the expansion also revealed new challenges. As the network grew, so did concerns about data sovereignty, digital divides, and algorithmic bias. Some regions faced infrastructural barriers limiting access, while others struggled with cultural misunderstandings about technology's role. The team responded with renewed commitment to inclusive design, ethical AI, and education. They partnered with local leaders, NGOs, and governments to tailor solutions and build trust. The chapter wove these global narratives into a mosaic of hope and complexity, emphasizing that innovation was not a monolith but a dynamic, evolving ecosystem. Amidst this, a new project emerged within the team, a virtual reality platform powered by the adaptive system designed to foster empathy and cross-cultural understanding. Users could experience perspectives from around the world, breaking down barriers of geography and language. Amanda became the platform's lead curator, collecting immersive stories that highlighted shared human experiences, joy, loss, aspiration, resilience. The platform gained rapid popularity, sparking dialogues in classrooms, workplaces, and homes. It became a tool for education and healing, bridging divides in an increasingly fragmented world. Musk reflected on the profound implications, technology not just connecting devices but hearts and minds. The chapter also explored the personal growth of key figures. Amanda confronted her own biases and assumptions through exposure to diverse cultures and stories, deepening her empathy and broadening her vision. James grappled with the tension between technological perfection and human imperfection, learning to embrace uncertainty and collaboration. Musk, balancing immense responsibilities, found solace and inspiration in these human connections, grounding his ambitions in shared humanity. The chapter closed with a poignant scene, a global virtual gathering where participants from every continent shared experiences through the VR platform, their voices intertwining across digital space. Musk watched quietly, moved by the sense of unity and possibility. The innovation had become more than a tool, it was a living bridge, connecting hearts and minds toward a more compassionate future. As the virtual reality platform gained momentum, Elon Musk's innovation entered a new phase, one focused on the intersection of technology, identity, and the human experience. The immersive environments created by the adaptive system became spaces where people could explore not only other cultures but also themselves. Psychologists and neuroscientists joined the project, studying how virtual empathy could foster personal growth, healing, and social cohesion. Amanda collaborated closely with these experts, shaping the platform's content to support mental health and resilience. One innovative feature allowed users to confront personal fears or traumas in controlled virtual settings, guided by AI coaches tailored to individual needs. This approach showed promise in therapy and education, opening pathways previously inaccessible due to stigma or logistics. James focused on enhancing the platform's AI capabilities to ensure interactions felt authentic and supportive without crossing ethical boundaries. The system learned to recognize emotional cues and adapt responses with sensitivity, balancing machine intelligence with human touch. The project attracted global attention as communities experimented with virtual empathy labs, integrating the platform into schools, workplaces, and healing centers. Early results indicated increased understanding, reduced prejudice, and improved mental well-being among participants. Musk emphasized that this work reflected a deeper vision: technology as a catalyst for inner transformation and collective harmony. However, the venture also sparked debate. Critics worried about over-reliance on virtual experiences and the potential for escapism. Ethical questions about consent, data privacy, and the line between reality and simulation were rigorously examined. The team responded transparently, implementing strict guidelines and fostering ongoing dialogue with users and ethicists. The chapter portrayed these tensions vividly, showing the complexity of pioneering new frontiers in human experience. Meanwhile, the technology's role in the physical world continued to expand. Adaptive systems integrated with healthcare providers enabled personalized medicine, predicting disease risks and tailoring treatments. Smart cities evolved with enhanced environmental controls, responsive transportation, and citizen engagement platforms. Musk and his team remained committed to ensuring that innovation served people holistically, bridging virtual and physical realities. On a personal level, the characters' journeys deepened. Amanda's work with trauma survivors reshaped her understanding of resilience and hope. James faced moments of doubt but found renewed purpose in the project's impact. Musk balanced the demands of public life with private reflection, often retreating to quiet moments to consider the profound responsibility of shaping humanity's future. The chapter culminated in a significant event, the launch of a global virtual empathy summit, bringing together users, experts, and leaders in a shared space transcending borders and differences. Musk delivered a keynote highlighting the power of technology to heal divisions and nurture compassion. As participants engaged in immersive experiences and heartfelt dialogues, a palpable sense of connection and possibility filled the virtual arena. The chapter closed with a resonant scene of Musk stepping away from the spotlight, watching as diverse voices wove a tapestry of shared humanity, a testament to the innovation's evolving legacy. With the success of the Global Virtual Empathy Summit, Elon Musk's innovation was no longer just a technology, it had become a movement. The lines between digital and physical realities blurred as communities worldwide embraced the adaptive system's potential to foster not only connection but active collaboration. Musk's vision of a future where technology served as a bridge rather than a barrier seemed within reach. Yet, the path forward remained complex and fraught with challenges. In the weeks following the summit, reports surfaced of unexpected consequences. Some users became overly reliant on virtual environments, struggling to reintegrate into physical social settings. Others raised concerns about data security breaches despite rigorous protections. The adaptive system's complexity meant that occasional glitches affected critical services, from healthcare monitoring to energy management, reminding all that even the most advanced technology required constant vigilance. Elon and his team took these issues seriously. They launched a comprehensive review and assembled rapid response units to address vulnerabilities. Transparent communication became a cornerstone of their approach, fostering trust through openness about challenges and solutions. Amanda led community engagement efforts, facilitating dialogues where users could share experiences and shape ongoing improvements. James intensified focus on system robustness, spearheading innovations in cybersecurity and fail-safe mechanisms. The chapter delved into these real-world complexities, portraying the tension between visionary progress and practical realities. It highlighted the resilience of both the technology and the people who relied on it. Meanwhile, the innovation's role in global crises became more pronounced. When unprecedented climate events struck various regions, the adaptive system's predictive capabilities helped authorities prepare and respond more effectively. From flood warnings in Southeast Asia to wildfire management in California, the technology proved invaluable in mitigating disaster impacts. These events underscored the urgency of integrating technology with sustainable policy and community action. Musk advocated for coordinated global efforts, emphasizing that innovation alone could not solve systemic problems but could empower collective solutions. The narrative followed these intertwined threads of crisis and collaboration, illustrating the innovation's place in a rapidly changing world. On a more intimate level, personal stories revealed how individuals navigated the evolving landscape. Families used the system to maintain health and education amid disruptions. Activists leveraged real-time data to mobilize environmental campaigns. Educators redesigned curricula to incorporate adaptive learning tools. Amanda and James witnessed these transformations firsthand, deepening their commitment to inclusive design and ethical stewardship. The chapter also reflected on Musk's leadership amid growing scrutiny. Balancing ambition with accountability, he embraced a role not only as a technologist but as a global citizen and advocate. His public speeches blended optimism with calls for humility and shared responsibility. The chapter closed with a compelling scene, a nighttime view of a smart city pulsating with adaptive energy, while thousands around the world connected virtually to discuss future directions. Musk stood among them, inspired yet mindful of the work ahead. The story of Elon Musk's latest innovation had reached a pivotal chapter, not an end, but an invitation to all humanity to engage, evolve, and co-create a sustainable, compassionate future. As Elon Musk's innovation matured, its impact began to reshape the very notion of progress and human potential. The adaptive system had moved beyond its initial scope, becoming a catalyst for transformative societal shifts. In this penultimate chapter, the story explores how the interplay between technology, humanity, and ethics deepened, prompting profound questions about the future. Musk and his team faced mounting pressures, from governments demanding regulation, from citizens calling for greater transparency, and from unforeseen ethical dilemmas emerging in the system's expanding capabilities. The innovation's predictive algorithms, while powerful, sometimes revealed uncomfortable truths about social inequalities and systemic biases. Amanda took a leading role in navigating these complexities, advocating for fairness, accountability, and inclusive participation in shaping the technology's evolution. She worked tirelessly to develop frameworks ensuring that the system did not reinforce existing disparities but actively contributed to equity. James focused on technical solutions to reduce bias and increase transparency, collaborating with ethicists and data scientists. Their efforts highlighted the importance of multidisciplinary approaches in responsible innovation. Meanwhile, Musk grappled with the weight of visionary leadership amid rapidly changing societal expectations. Public scrutiny intensified as the innovation touched more aspects of daily life. Musk's openness about challenges and willingness to engage critics helped build trust, yet he recognized that continuous dialogue and adaptability were essential. The chapter illustrates these tensions through vivid scenes, public forums, think tank meetings, and candid conversations with team members. The narrative also delves into the personal journeys of Amanda and James, showing how their commitment to ethical stewardship deepened their sense of purpose and resilience. Their partnership, both professional and personal, became a symbol of the balance between innovation and humanity. Amid these challenges, breakthroughs continued. The adaptive system was instrumental in advancing sustainable urban development, personalized healthcare, and educational equity. Pilot programs demonstrated measurable improvements in quality of life, environmental impact, and social cohesion. These successes reinforced the vision that technology, when guided by ethical principles and community engagement, could be a force for good. The chapter culminates in a momentous event, the establishment of a global consortium dedicated to the ethical governance of the innovation. Musk, Amanda, and James played central roles in founding this body, which brought together diverse stakeholders to oversee standards, transparency, and accountability. The consortium's formation marked a milestone in collaborative, responsible innovation. The chapter closes with a reflective scene, Musk standing on a rooftop overlooking a city illuminated by the adaptive system's light. He contemplates the journey from ambitious beginnings to a nuanced future shaped by shared responsibility. The story emphasizes that true progress is not measured solely by technological feats but by the values and communities it nurtures. Elon Musk's latest innovation had become more than a breakthrough, it was a living legacy of human potential, ethics, and hope. The final chapter unfolds with a profound sense of closure and new beginnings. Elon Musk's latest innovation, once a daring concept, had transformed into a cornerstone of global life, influencing everything from daily routines to humanity's aspirations among the stars. Yet, the story did not end with technology alone, it was the story of people, of resilience, hope, and the enduring power of connection. As the Global Consortium for Ethical Governance solidified its role, Musk reflected on the lessons learned throughout this extraordinary journey. He recognized that innovation without compassion was hollow, and that the future required not just inventors but stewards of humanity's shared destiny. Amanda, having grown into a leading voice for inclusive technology, continued to champion access and empathy, ensuring that the system served as a bridge across divides. James's technical leadership sustained the system's integrity and adaptability, fostering a culture of continuous improvement grounded in ethics. The chapter weaves together scenes of everyday life transformed by the innovation, a child in a remote village accessing education through adaptive learning, a doctor remotely monitoring a patient's health with precision, communities collaboratively managing resources with transparency. These vignettes highlight the human heartbeat of the technology, how it amplified dignity, opportunity, and care. Musk's personal reflections deepen the narrative, revealing moments of doubt, inspiration, and quiet determination. He recalls the early days filled with uncertainty, the trials faced, and the moments of breakthrough that made the risks worthwhile. He acknowledges the collective effort, the team, communities, critics, and collaborators, that shaped the innovation into a force for good. The story culminates in a symbolic event, a live broadcast from a newly established Mars colony, where the adaptive system supports not just survival but thriving culture. Musk watches alongside millions on Earth, seeing children play, scientists explore, and artists create in a place once thought unreachable. This vision of the future embodies the innovation's promise, technology as an extension of human spirit, pushing boundaries while nurturing roots. The chapter closes with a powerful, reflective message: life is full of surprises, but love will always lead the way. This line echoes the story's core truth that despite challenges and changes, connection and compassion remain the foundation of progress. The narrative leaves readers with a sense of hope and invitation to imagine their own roles in shaping a future where innovation and humanity walk hand in hand. Elon Musk's latest innovation stands not only as a testament to human ingenuity but as a living reminder that the greatest breakthroughs come when technology serves love, family, and the enduring bonds that define us. It began with an idea. An idea that the future could be better, that technology could serve not just systems, but souls. Elon Musk had chased that idea across deserts and data centers, across oceans and orbits, and eventually, across the void of space itself. But as he stood quietly in the corner of a small community school in upstate New York, watching children learn through the innovation he once only dreamed of, it was clear that the most powerful journeys often circle back to where they started, with people. The room was alive with movement. Children worked on adaptive learning tablets that had been personalized down to their interests, learning pace, even their emotional rhythms. Some were solving math problems with augmented reality, others were immersed in historical simulations, not just reading about events but walking through them. On the wall, a live feedback loop showed energy usage, nutritional balance in the cafeteria, and environmental impact of daily routines. Every student understood that their actions were part of a system bigger than themselves, and that they could shape it. Amanda was there too, sitting cross-legged on the floor, laughing with a small group of fourth graders. She had returned to the States after months overseas, implementing new community models based on empathy-centered technology. Her presence brought the same warmth it always had, steady, genuine, human. James had joined virtually, projected onto the wall in real time from a solar-powered outpost in rural Kenya, where he was helping develop infrastructure designed to work without centralized power or high-speed connectivity. "You wouldn't believe how fast these kids here pick it up," he joked through the screen. "They're teaching me." Musk smiled, feeling the kind of pride that doesn't come from profit margins or stock tickers, but from watching something grow far beyond its origin. The innovation had scaled globally, yes, but it had also scaled inward. People were becoming more aware, more connected, more in tune with themselves and each other. For the first time in decades, data showed a measurable rise in emotional well-being across several countries. Rates of burnout, anxiety, and depression were declining where the technology had been integrated with care. And in places where mistrust once blocked its adoption, co-designed community platforms had begun to flip skepticism into empowerment. In many ways, this bonus chapter of the innovation wasn't about function anymore, it was about meaning. The system had matured. It didn't just predict weather or regulate energy, it helped people understand their own patterns, their own purpose. Musk no longer needed to defend it. It stood on its own, shaped by the very people it aimed to serve. That afternoon, Amanda led a panel at the school library. Parents, educators, and even local officials packed into the space, curious not just about how the system worked, but about what came next. "This isn't about replacing teachers, or parents, or doctors," Amanda said, her tone calm and passionate. "It's about giving them tools to do more of what they already do best: care, inspire, guide. It's about trust." A mother raised her hand, tears in her eyes. "My son has autism. For years he struggled in class, couldn't keep up with the pace. Since using this, he's blossomed. It's like the system actually sees him." "That's the goal," Amanda replied gently. "Not to make us the same. To help us see each other." Outside, as the event wound down, Musk stepped away from the crowd and looked out over the small field behind the school. Fireflies had started to glow in the summer dusk. Children ran and laughed, no screens in sight. The technology was everywhere, but invisible. Supportive, not invasive. Present, but never replacing what made us human. A teacher approached him quietly. "I used to be terrified of losing my job," she admitted. "Now I feel like I've got superpowers. I spend more time connecting with the kids. Less time burned out by bureaucracy." Musk nodded. "That's exactly how it's supposed to work. You're still the core of the experience. The tech just holds up the rest." The next day, James and Amanda joined him at the headquarters in Austin for what would be their final team review before transitioning leadership to the next generation. The building felt different now, less like a company, more like a learning lab or cultural center. Young leaders from around the world filled the space with ideas and laughter. A group of interns from 6 countries was testing a new decentralized system that could run entirely on open hardware and renewable power, needing no internet at all. "They're going to run circles around us," James said, watching from a second-floor balcony. "Good," Musk replied. "That's the whole point." In the final meeting, Musk addressed the team not as a CEO, but as a peer. "You've heard me say before that we build the future. But now I realize, we live in it, too. This isn't about legacy. It's about stewardship. What we started here is a tool. What people do with it. That's the real story." Amanda stood up, holding a small wooden box. Inside it were handwritten letters from users around the world, people whose lives had been changed not just by the technology, but by the feeling of being seen, heard, and supported. Musk took the box, holding it with quiet reverence. We should archive this, he said. And we should keep adding to it. We already have, Amanda replied. There are thousands more coming in every week. The chapter ends not with a launch, or a speech, or a disruption, but with a conversation on a quiet hilltop as the sun sets. The three of them, Elon, Amanda, and James, sit on a bench overlooking a small community that runs entirely on the innovation they once sketched on whiteboards and napkins. Children play. Lights glow. Music drifts from open windows. You think they'll remember us? James asks, half joking. Maybe, Amanda says. But more importantly, they'll remember what they felt. Safe. Capable. Connected. Musk smiles. That's more than enough. As the stars begin to appear overhead, the adaptive system pings softly in the background, not as an alert, but as a heartbeat. A quiet pulse reminding everyone that even as the world changes, the core truth remains: we are all in this together. One spark. Shared forward. Years had passed. The innovation that once shocked the world was now as natural as sunlight, as trusted as clean water. Its presence was everywhere, quiet, invisible, integrated into the rhythm of human life like breath. But this chapter was not about systems or satellites, networks or algorithms. This chapter was about what came after the storm. It was about legacy. Elon Musk sat alone in a coastal cabin in Oregon, miles away from any city, surrounded by towering trees and the soft rush of the Pacific. No cameras. No boardrooms. No charts or graphs. Just the sound of the wind through the pines and the low hum of waves. The adaptive system was still running, of course, it always was, but here, it felt like background music, not the main act. And that, Musk believed, was its greatest success. It had faded into the fabric of life, not overshadowed it. He kept a simple life now. A few speaking engagements each year, occasional advisory meetings, but most of his days were quiet. He read constantly, philosophy, history, old science fiction novels. He wrote in a journal every morning, not for the world, but for himself. The great urgency that had once driven him had softened into something more reflective. Not regret. Not even rest. Just peace. Amanda visited every few months, often bringing letters from the global teams, news of new schools opening in war-torn regions, or stories of refugee camps powered entirely by microgrid versions of the system. She was still active, now leading a foundation focused on emotional intelligence in the age of artificial intelligence. Her work had helped redefine how the world measured success, not by GDP, but by community health, mutual care, and emotional well-being. James had relocated permanently to Africa. He'd married a local teacher in Rwanda and started a decentralized innovation hub with the next generation of tech leaders. When they called in sometimes, the kids in his village would wave excitedly at Musk through the screen, shouting, "Uncle Elon," with toothy smiles and unmatched energy. Musk smiled often now, but he laughed hardest when he was with them. It reminded him that legacy wasn't built in headlines or hardware. It was built in people. In laughter. In the quiet miracles that happen when a child feels seen, or a mother feels supported, or a community finds its own rhythm. Still, despite the peace he had found, Musk couldn't help but wonder if it would last. One night, as a storm moved in from the Pacific, he sat by the fire, reviewing a report Amanda had left behind. It showed a small but vocal movement rising globally, a generation of skeptics who questioned the innovation not from fear, but from apathy. "It's always been there," one young man had said in an interview. "We didn't choose it. It just exists. I don't know if that's a good thing or not." That sentence stuck with Musk. He'd fought so hard for adoption, for trust, for infrastructure. He'd never paused to consider what would happen when the system simply became invisible, when it was no longer revolutionary, but expected. Taken for granted. Was that a victory? Or the beginning of decline? He didn't sleep much that night. Instead, he went outside, standing on the damp deck, rain dotting his shoulders. The stars were hidden, the wind sharp. But he could feel something stirring, an old sensation he hadn't felt in years. Not fear. Not even urgency. It was curiosity. The next morning, he drafted a letter. It was short. Handwritten. He sent copies to Amanda, James, and a few other trusted friends. The title read simply, The Next Beginning. In it, Musk posed a question, just one: if the world no longer feels the system working, have we succeeded in designing peace, or have we failed in keeping wonder alive? That question spread like wildfire. Universities debated it. Podcasts unpacked it. High school teachers turned it into essay prompts. Elders in quiet towns brought it up at Sunday service. It wasn't about Musk. It wasn't even about the innovation, really. It was about the rhythm of progress, and whether the human soul could ever be satisfied, or if we are always meant to search, to stretch, to build again. Amanda wrote back with a proposal, a global event, not like the previous summits, but something more intimate. No cameras. No press. Just 100 people, under 30 years old, from every continent. Thinkers, artists, farmers, engineers, poets, midwives. No filters. No agenda. Just stories, curiosity, and the question, what now? It was called The Listening. Musk didn't attend in person. He watched the live stream quietly, sipping tea as young voices filled the screen. They didn't worship the innovation. They didn't reject it, either. They critiqued, celebrated, questioned, expanded. A girl from Mumbai said, "This technology saved my family during the floods. But it didn't teach my brother how to forgive." A boy from Chile asked, "If the system is always learning about us, are we still learning about ourselves?" They cried, they laughed, they challenged each other. They designed small experiments for new kinds of communities, cooperative cities, gift-based economies, emotional justice systems. Nothing massive. Just seeds. By the end of the week, they had created something extraordinary, a document titled The Human Protocol. It wasn't law. It wasn't code. It was more like a promise, a set of evolving values meant to guide all future innovations, grounded not in profit or power, but in kindness, creativity, and shared stewardship. Musk printed a copy and framed it next to his fireplace. Months later, on his 80th birthday, Amanda and James visited him. They cooked dinner together, nothing fancy, just soup and grilled cheese. They didn't talk about the past. They talked about gardens. About dreams. About a child James and his wife were expecting. As the fire crackled and the wind whispered through the pines, Amanda leaned forward and asked, "Do you ever wish you'd done it differently?" Musk didn't answer right away. Then he looked out the window, saw a hummingbird hovering near the feeder, and said softly, "No. Because I didn't do it alone." The final moments of this chapter, and of the story, come not with fanfare, but with a letter Musk leaves behind when he quietly passes, surrounded by friends, in that same cabin. It reads: "If you're reading this, then it means you're holding the next question. Good. That means the story's still alive. Build carefully. Love wildly. And never forget. We didn't build the future with code. We built it with trust." And beneath that, a single line, handwritten in his shaky script. "The spark that remains, is you." It had been 1 year since Elon Musk's passing, but his name still echoed through headlines, classrooms, and casual conversations. Not as a figure of celebrity or power, but as something quieter. A presence. A reminder. The world had changed, yes, and so had the people within it. But as time moved forward, a new generation began asking a question not about Musk, not about the system, but about themselves: what will we do with what we've inherited? The setting was a coastal innovation retreat center in northern Iceland. Wind turbines turned in the distance. Solar panels shimmered in the soft Arctic light. The building itself ran entirely on decentralized microgrids powered by the very technology Musk's team had pioneered. Inside, 30 young leaders from across the globe sat in a sunlit circle. No phones, no devices, just notebooks, water, and intention. Among them was Maya, a 27-year-old climate mediator from Montana who had grown up in a town where wildfires had reshaped not only the landscape but how people trusted each other. Kaito, a coder poet from Osaka, had created AI-generated music infused with traditional Japanese folk. Layla, a Syrian refugee turned urban designer, had helped rebuild bombed-out neighborhoods using Musk's adaptive materials and real-time collaboration tools. Each of them, in one way or another, had grown up under the influence of the system, not knowing a world without it. The purpose of this retreat wasn't to update tech, launch products, or craft policy. It was to listen, to one another, to the moment, and to the deeper pulse of what the future could be now that the original architect was gone. They called it the Spark Forum. The first day was quiet. There were no presentations. Just walking trails through mossy terrain and warm conversations over lentil soup and herbal tea. There were guided meditations around questions like, what does human intelligence feel like when it's not measured? What does innovation look like when it's not rushed? On the second day, Maya stood and spoke. When I was 16, our home burned to the ground. We had nothing. The system helped us find shelter, access mental health support, even rebuild sustainably. But what changed me most wasn't the help, it was how it reminded me I wasn't invisible. That's the part one wants to protect. The part where people feel seen, not just served. Heads nodded around the circle. Kaito picked up the thread, talking about how his generation had grown weary of speed and scale. We don't want bigger, he said. We want deeper. We want to feel the soul in the software. Layla added, the technology has given us structure. Safety. But what we're missing now is story. That's what people crave, meaning. Over the next few days, those conversations became something tangible. They began drafting not a replacement for Musk's innovation, but a next layer, a cultural layer. They imagined platforms that prioritized emotional presence over digital productivity. Interfaces that dissolved when not needed. Cities that adapted not just to climate but to community rituals and rhythms. And they made a bold proposal, a global pause week. Once a year, every country, every city, every connected device would slow down. The adaptive system would lower energy consumption, halt non-essential data flows, and switch from predictive to reflective mode. It wouldn't stop. But it would soften. People would be prompted to rest, reset, remember. Schools would teach silence. Workplaces would encourage storytelling. Governments would report not only economic indicators but emotional wellness scores. The world would remember that being alive isn't the same as always doing. The proposal made its way quickly to the consortium that had governed the innovation since Musk stepped down. Amanda, now its chairwoman, read the document 3 times. Then she called James. They're not asking for permission, she said. They're offering perspective. And that, James replied, smiling, is how we know we did our job. The first Global Pause week launched quietly. No fanfare. Just a flicker of change. Timers slowed. Notifications ceased. Cities dimmed their lights by 10%. In millions of homes, people simply sat together. They played instruments. They wrote letters. They cried. They exhaled. And when the week was over, something had shifted. Not globally, not immediately, but inside. A recalibration. A remembering. The system, ever adaptive, learned from the event. It began to offer soft days to users based on emotional signals, gentle nudges to rest, step away, breathe. Health outcomes improved. Productivity paradoxically increased, not from pressure, but from presence. Maya, Kaito, and Layla became the quiet leaders of this new era, not as influencers or CEOs, but as cultural architects. They refused titles. They traveled lightly. They listened more than they spoke. They wrote songs and policy, poetry and code. They reminded the world that the next wave of innovation wouldn't come from pushing boundaries, it would come from knowing when not to. In one of her letters to a friend, Amanda described this chapter of the innovation as the soft revolution. We thought the system's greatest power was its speed, she wrote. But its real gift was time. Time to be. Time to feel. Time to choose. Elon Musk had once imagined cities on Mars. And while that dream lived on, new colonies rising with sustainable technology and interplanetary AI support, it was Earth, and Earth's people, that carried the legacy now. The final image of this chapter takes place in a library in Mexico City. A young girl, no more than 10, flips through a digital book titled The First Spark. On the dedication page, it reads, "To those who ask the questions no one else would. To those who built anyway. And to those who will listen after us." The girl pauses. She turns to her grandmother, sitting nearby. "Who was Elon Musk?" she asks. The grandmother smiles, thinking. "He was someone who believed we could do better. Not just build better. Be better." "Did he make the world perfect?" "No," she says, placing her hand gently over the girl's. "But he gave us the tools. And trusted that we would try." The screen fades. Somewhere far away, the system hums softly, not in dominance, but in harmony. Still learning. Still listening. And in a quiet field, wind blowing through tall grass, a stone marker reads, "Elon Musk, 1971 to 2049. He dreamed with his eyes open. And then he let us dream, too." The sky above Europa was the deepest blue humanity had ever seen. It wasn't Earth's familiar sky, but something colder, vaster, almost sacred. From the observatory window of the Solstice outpost, perched on the icy surface of Jupiter's moon, Layla stared out at the glistening ridges of frozen ocean that stretched far beyond what any camera could fully capture. This wasn't fiction anymore. It hadn't been for years. The innovation that began with adaptive energy systems and personalized algorithms had become something else entirely, a shared consciousness of sorts, not artificial, not divine, but deeply human. Across planets and orbits, on Earth and beyond, the system had evolved into what its stewards now called the Loom, a vast, decentralized web of knowledge, ethics, emotional intelligence, and sustainable infrastructure. But at its core, the Loom was a mirror. It didn't just process the world. It reflected it back, clearer, softer, and sometimes more painfully than expected. Layla wasn't alone on Europa. She led a team of sociologists, artists, environmental scientists, and linguists, not engineers. The mission wasn't about colonization or conquest. It was about listening. They weren't here to shape the moon, but to understand how it might shape them. Humanity had learned a vital lesson over the decades: the most dangerous thing wasn't building too fast. It was building without asking why. This time, they were asking first. The outpost used no carbon, generated no waste, and ran entirely on stored starlight and kinetic motion gathered from natural tremors below the surface. Every message sent back to Earth passed through a multi-phase consent process: privacy, context, emotional alignment. No data was harvested. Nothing was sold. It was the quietest kind of progress imaginable. Each week, Layla's team gathered in a small biodome known as the listening room. They would sit among the oxygenating moss and lavender, reflecting on the week's findings, dreams, and questions. They recorded no formal reports, only stories. That week, a team member named Jasper, a young astrophilosopher from Senegal, raised a topic that hushed the room: what happens when even the loom becomes outdated? The question struck deep. They had spent so many years designing for permanence, resilience, flexibility, but what about impermanence? What if the innovation that had carried humanity through climate collapse, societal upheaval, even interplanetary survival, wasn't meant to last forever? What if letting it go is the next act of wisdom? Layla added. No one spoke for a moment. Later that night, she sent a private message to Amanda back on Earth, now a revered elder, though she refused any title. Her farm in New Hampshire had become a sanctuary for thinkers, dreamers, and re-wielded animals. She still met weekly with young advisors who maintained the loom's core protocols, though she spent more time now gardening than governing. Amanda read Layla's message as she sat beside a small outdoor fire, her hands in the dirt, a newborn goat sleeping at her feet. What if we begin to outgrow the system? What if the deepest evolution is learning to live without it? Amanda stared at the flames, the heat warming her cheeks. She remembered something Elon had once said, years before he died, the best innovation disappears. It becomes so natural you forget it had to be invented. She wrote back. Then maybe that's the final gift. Letting go. Not because we failed, but because we grew up. Back on Europa, Layla shared Amanda's words with the crew. They wept, not from grief, but recognition. They had come to a place so far from home, only to discover that the next leap forward might be inward. Toward self-trust. Toward analog living. Toward the silence between data. They began a new initiative, Project Memory Unwritten. It was a series of human-centered experiments designed to test how people would live, create, and solve without real-time system support. Could a society function if the loom was only a background hum, used only in emergencies or consensus building? Could knowledge become something embodied again, not just accessed, but lived? The project spread. On Earth, entire villages began opting into loom-free zones, not as rejections, but as rituals. People planted gardens without algorithmic suggestions. They told stories without digital records. They navigated using stars, remembered recipes, trusted instincts. And what shocked them most, was how much they remembered. Maya, now a global elder herself, traveled to Chile to participate in a week-long gathering of young builders working completely offline. They designed houses with found materials, cooked meals from memory, and used charcoal to draw visions of the future on stone walls. It was primitive. It was beautiful. It was free. In one of her nightly circles, Maya told them, the greatest thing we built wasn't the system. It was the confidence to let it rest. Meanwhile, on Mars, the colonies were entering a new phase. Children born on the planet, first-generation Martians, were beginning to question Earth's legacy entirely. To them, the loom was a given, like gravity. But they weren't impressed by it. They wanted story, not structure. Art, not efficiency. Love, not logistics. One child, Elian, wrote a poem that went viral across both planets. You gave us code. And we built clouds. You gave us light. And we painted shadows. You gave us everything. So we ask. What do we give back? That poem was inscribed on a plaque inside the first interplanetary archive capsule, to be launched into deep space not for retrieval, but for remembrance. In the final months of the chapter, the loom's global stewards decided to introduce a voluntary mode called Grace. When activated, Grace would begin a slow, respectful winding down of all non-essential features. It would still monitor safety, respond to critical crises, and store knowledge, but it would stop suggesting, stop predicting, stop optimizing. It would, in essence, become quiet. Billions of people opted in. Slowly, across the world and beyond, lights dimmed. Notifications stopped. Voices lowered. Humanity stepped into a new rhythm, not defined by data, but by breath, relationship, memory, and presence. 1 year later, a single broadcast was sent from the original Tesla Gigafactory in Texas, now repurposed as a global commons for art and reflection. Amanda, frail now, walked slowly to a microphone in front of a small audience, her voice steady and soft. We dreamed of a better world, and we built the scaffolding to reach it. But now, we set it down. Not in failure. Not in fear. But in faith, that we have remembered how to walk without it. That we trust ourselves again. She paused. Technology taught us how to listen. Now it's time to sing. The final image in this story is a wide shot, planet Earth glowing in the quiet of space, surrounded by satellites no longer transmitting commands, but simply holding space. A beacon. A memory. Somewhere, far beyond the solar system, the capsule containing Elian's poem drifts silently toward the stars, a seed not of code, but of conscience. And back on Europa, Layla lights a small candle beside her bed. She doesn't need the loom to fall asleep. She only needs the silence. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough?